Hey guys, what's going on? This is TheTurtleDork here with a new review for you. Today I got for you Fate of the Furious, the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. Let's go ahead and start with the good in this movie. The good stuff is The Rock is great. Jason Statham is good. They have a great scene. The prison breakout scene is absolutely phenomenal. It's so much fun and they kick major ass in this movie, and they are so much fun to watch, and they have a great dynamic together, the two of them, throughout this film, and it kind of foreshadows what could come later on. So yeah, that's about it for me personally. That's the only good I really liked about this film. This film was a complete letdown for me. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. Of course, this franchise took a turn in Fast 4 is when they started to kind of course correct a little bit, because that's when Vin Diesel fully came back into the franchise. Fast 5 is still the standout of the whole franchise, and 6 was really good. 7 was a weird film because that was dealing with the death of Paul Walker, and James Wan had a lot of stuff to try to juggle to really bring that film together, even though it didn't completely work for me, and this film just falls off the rails. First, I gotta say, it's a little disappointed. F. Gary Gray, who came off of Straight Outta Compton, which I thought was a phenomenal film, to me really dropped the ball. It seemed like he really had no type of creative control in making this film. First, I gotta just say the look of this film. If you compare this to any of the other Fast and Furious films, the look is completely different, and that is not just attributed to the director, but to the team behind the camera, the cinematographer, everything around the film, which is a little upsetting and confusing to me, because if you look at the budget for this film, it comes across as like a TV movie. The opening scene that I think is in Cuba, it's not a good scene. It's really the race scene that we get. It's it's not dynamic. The way that it's shot, there's no flair to it. You don't feel the you don't feel the stakes or the intensity in that scene. It just feels like fluff. It just feels like, I don't know. It's just not a well shot scene, and for this movie to open up with that, it really kind of sets forth what to expect throughout the rest of this film. So yeah, we have the whole team back again. So we got Tyrese, we got Ludacris, we got the girl that plays Ramsey, she's back. Michelle Rodriguez is back. The whole team is back. So another good thing I will say, let me just kind of take it back, I did like Charlize Theron. Her character, it seems like she really was kind of chewing up the scenery, being a villain in this movie, and I thought that she really came to play with this type of role. But there's so many things I think that are just wrong with this movie. They introduce something that I thought could be interesting moving forward, and I'm just going to say, this is spoilers. The movie's been out. This is a late review, but I want to get this up on our channel. But I just want to say the whole thing with Vin Diesel and his son, and him having his son with I forget the character's name right now, but the actress is Elsa Pataki, I think, Chris Hemsworth's wife. But they introduced that she had his child that he didn't know about, and that brought in an interesting storyline that they could have played with moving forward, because him being with Michelle Rodriguez's character, I thought that was something. But then they give him an out by killing off her character, and that's the thing that I don't like about these films. I know Vin Diesel is the star, but they make him out to be such this great person, this iconic character, and they don't give him anything to have any type of confliction, anything that he has to either fight against, or any type of conflictions that internal conflictions that he has to deal with, whether it's with himself or with other people within the family. That's something that I want to see. The other thing that most people have been talking about is this hashtag Justice for Han. To me, that was a big misstep in this movie. To bring Jason Statham into the fold, into this group to help them out, knowing what he did. Now, granted, we don't know what's to come in the future films, but if you're looking within the context of the story, these characters are under the impression that he killed Han. So at the end of the film, why would anybody, including Dominic, be cool with that? So it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me at all. And it really upsets me, because I'm a huge fan of this franchise. And another thing too, I'm not in this camp about, I can forgive the fact that these movies are just goofy, campy, they don't take themselves seriously. When I came into this franchise, I came into it because I cared and loved these characters. And even the people who are kind of cynical against this franchise know that we feel that these actors and the team that makes these movies, they care about these characters, and they make us as an audience member care about these characters. They've built a relationship with us so that as we move along in these films, we care about these characters regardless of how you see the films. But personally, for me, I love these movies. I get wrapped up in the family aspect of these films. And I think what Justin Lin did with starting with Tokyo Drift all the way up to the 6th film is that he was able to really tell a nice story arc with all of these characters, and I really feel like I can buy into that love, into that family aspect that they created. It makes me care about things, especially when characters, I guess, supposedly get killed off. But as they kind of move this franchise along with the 7th and now this film, it feels like they're getting away from the essence and the heart that I came to the franchise enjoying. A lot of people may not see it that way. A lot of people just want to say it's dumb fun, which I get. There are some movies that are dumb fun, and this movie it's going to the Looney Tunes ridiculous route with a lot of its action. But even with that, starting with the 5th film, there was heart at the center of it to make you actually care about what was going on. And I think moving into these recent films, we're losing a little bit of that. And a lot of that I kind of contribute to the fact of Justin Lin not being the helmer of this franchise. And I love Justin Lin. I would love to see him come back, because to me, when he was behind the camera of these films, that's when the films were at their best. But I'm thinking about putting up another video, probably a video essay of the whole franchise and how I saw it in the beginning and how the franchise has kind of shifted and changed and how I kind of see it now and possibly moving forward. So that's something I'm thinking about doing in the very near future, probably when Fate of the Furious comes out on Blu-ray. I'll try to put that together. But yeah, this film, again, The Rock, Jason Statham were great. The Rock is basically a superhero when he's physically can change the direction of a torpedo. Yeah, like I said, you can say that the action, especially in this movie, is extremely ridiculous. But I just really couldn't get into it. I really could not get into it, only because it feels like they've kind of betrayed a lot of the things that they've set up narratively and character-wise, starting from even the 1st film and when Justin Lin started his story arc in the 3rd film with Tokyo Drift. It seems like they're getting away from what they started with this franchise, and to me it feels like they are kind of listening to the fan reaction instead of actually taking their own direction with this franchise. Of course, the big fan reactions for this franchise is the fact that, yeah, these movies are just silly, dumb fun, and it feels like the producers and the filmmakers are kind of just taking that and, well, you know, if this is what they wanted, let's just give them that. And for me personally, I just wish they would kind of get back to the grassroots of what made this franchise really, really special. And I think I think the loss of Paul Walker also plays a big part in that as well. You can tell that to me, I felt that there was something missing with him not being there. Of course, it seems like they tried to replace him with Scott Eastwood, and his character was just terrible, just absolutely terrible. Kurt Russell is also fun to watch, but he really doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. Helen Mirren has a small little bit role, and she's cool in it. I like her. I wouldn't mind seeing her again. But yeah, overall, man, I can't really get with this. So with a score, I'm going to say, let me think. It was a disappointment. I'm gonna give it a 60. I'm gonna give it a 60 out of 100. That's a D. It's Rotten Tomato wise, that would be fresh, but this ain't Rotten Tomatoes, so screw that. But I'm gonna go with 60 out of 100. But go ahead and let me know what you thought of Fate of the Furious in the comments below. Go ahead, rate, like, subscribe, and share, and go ahead and check out my other dorks at MouthDork, at TheDiscoDork, and at Sidewalk Siren. And as for me, I am the Turtle Dork, and with that, I'm out.